Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishisha Shunyavadi Paschajade Satarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai. It's nice to have Evolved on again. Should we call you Evolved or Angel or Earth? Which one?
You can call me Angel. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Angel, that sounds like the best out of the bunch. Okay, and we've got Ananta Shesha. Good. So let us then go to Manasi Ganga's on board too. Let's look at the first page from the introduction and go to the first verse, which we call the invocational verse. Om Jnana Timirandasya
Om Ajnana Timirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Jnana Anjana Shalakaya
Chakshurmilitam Yena
Chakshur Unmilitam Yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance,
I was born in the darkest ignorance,
and my spiritual master opened my eyes
and my spiritual master opened my eyes
with the torch of knowledge.
with the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances to him.
Okay, we'll ask our dear Vaishnavi to take us to the verse that we're supposed to be looking at today.
16.1, and in that,
Okay.
1, 2,
Good. Yeah, we're still
6.
at that shloka 1, 2, and 3. All right.
Yeah, we are in tapas or austerity.
Okay. What I will do though, I will take the liberty to read the whole verse or 3 verses together because they're a good reminder as to what are the 26 qualities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, nonviolence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to godly people endowed with divine nature. Hare Krishna. And the purport, we're going to zip over to tapasya, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you bring us to the exact page and paragraph, please? In my version here, it's page 619. 619. It reads as tapas. It's at the bottom of the page. Okay, so let us stick to that particular topic and not read beyond that. Okay, so I think we can get 2 people to read on this topic, which is it's 1 paragraph. We'll split it up. Okay.
Okay. Angel, would you like to read some?
Sure.
Okay, and then Pavitra. It's on the screen if you can see. You can read starting from here.
Tapas or austerity is especially meant for the retired life. One should not remain a householder throughout throughout his whole life, he must always remember that there are four divisions of life: Brahma Karaya, Grashta, Vana Prastha, and Sayanasa. So after Grashta, householder life, one should retire. If one lives for 100 years, he should spend 25 years in student life, 25 in householder life, 25 in retired life, and 25 in renounced order of life. Shall I keep going?
Yeah, just give us another couple of sentences, please.
Sure. There are the regulations of the Vedic religious discipline. A man retired from household life must practice austerities of the body, mind, and tongue. That is tapasya.
Very
The
good. That's
entire,
great. That's very good. And then
okay,
you can give us the rest.
The entire Varnashrama Dharma society is meant for tapasya. Without tapasya, or austerity, no human being can get liberation. The theory that there is no need of austerity in life, that one can go on speculating and everything will be nice, is recommended neither in the Vedic literature nor in the Bhagavad Gita. Such theories are manufactured by show bottle spiritualists who are trying to gather more followers. If there are restrictions, rules, and regulations, people will not become attracted. Therefore, those who want followers in the name of religion just to have a show only don't restrict the lives of their students, nor their own lives. But that method is not approved by the Vedas.
Jai, thank you very much. So we're dealing with the topic of tapasya. And what comes to my mind is a phrase from the Bhagavatam, tapasya brahmacharjana chamena cha damenya cha. So tapasya is in reference to self-discipline. Just to relate to that, I think it's a good definition. Discipline, we all need that, and self-discipline is good. That means it's targeting yourself as an individual. So what is tapasya in regards to the modern world? Like we see the way the economics work in our world, everything kind of surges economically for a time, and then we hit what's called an economical downturn. And that seems to be flowing like it comes like waves on a regular basis. And, I've seen it happen all the time. I remember people talking, everyone getting hit in the 80s and 90s, almost every decade. Things are on the upswing. It looks good for a while, and then suddenly it's like a mini crash. And then everyone has to learn to tighten their belt. Like if you wear a belt with holes in it, you'll know that when tapasya is happening, when there's a little bit of a crying out, financial crackdown, then usually you have the advantage of putting your little pin, the hinge on your belt. You can close down, you can slim down, trim down, and there's less food around. You just have to learn the art of cutting down, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good exercise. It's kind of like what we all went through with the pandemic. We all had to learn to just look at what's coming in, look at what's going on. You had to tighten things. You couldn't be on a big spending spree. And that's called tapasya. And people have to be ready for it. It's good to exercise it before it happens, before it's imposed on you. And that's what devotees do. You learn it in the early stage of your life, what's called brahmacharya. That's Angel, that's how you that's how we pronounce it. It's called brahmacharya, which means somebody who's in student life and who lives with a guru and learns to eat modestly, healthy, but modestly, not too much and not too often, just enough to keep going. And you learn that. And Prabhupada also gives an example in the Bhagavad Gita. If a bunch of young men are living together in an ashram, and usually it's the guru who says, okay, time to eat now. And he'll ask somebody to ring the bell, a chow time, that kind of thing. Well, if for instance, if the guru or the spiritual master happens not to be around or may even forget to ring the bell, then the brahmacharis, they fast. They kind of learn, they wait until they're given the order. It's not like in our Western culture where the fridge is stocked up, and whenever you feel some kind of whim to eat something, a snack, which you probably don't need, you just open up the big, refrigerator door, which is stacked with stuff, and then you pick, I'll take this, I'll take that, and and it's a horn of plenty. I remember as a kid growing up in the 50s, the early 60s, we always had enough, but the refrigerator wasn't stocked up. We lived on the farm. The food was good. It was tastier than the crap that they have in the grocery stores now, but we always had enough, and you ate at eating time. And we were trained like that from our parents who went through that ugly Second World War. So to me, that tapasya was a good exercise. And frankly, when I came to Krishna consciousness, there's so much food all the time. People used to criticize us. They accuse us, oh, it's a cult and there's food deprivation. I said, they can't charge us for that one. Go to any Hare Krishna temple and there's so much food always available, and Prabhupada always encouraged, eat, more. Of course, he was dealing with people who were getting off of drugs, and he wanted us to be drugged on sweet halwa as a transition period. But tapasya, discipline, it's such a good thing. It really is. And I admire people who go for that walk in the morning or that run in the morning, or I admire people who go to the gym. And of course, the motive isn't always the best. It's, how much sex life I'll be able to attract more people, the bigger are my biceps. But the fact that they go through this austerity is, it's not a bad exercise. Even army training is not bad, I mean, a lot of young men should go through that kind of training. And I'm of the conviction that young guys in North America, you should either get some army training or join an ashram, but get some bloody training. And that's what dads were there for. They were there to help their sons learn a little bit of the role of toughness, because they're going to deal with tough subject matter, And let's say if we do have a stock market crash again, like in the 30s, if it ever comes, will we be ready? I don't think so. I don't think as North Americans, because I want Pavitra to feel included, South Americans will be quite ready for that, because we're spoiled people. And we have more, you look at the size of people and it's just quite revealing that we have probably too much. So tapasya goes hand in hand. Now, I want to say something too about this 25 years as a student, 25 as a grasta. These are nice sort of rounded figures. They don't always apply, but Prabhupada is trying to say that study hard and study well when you're young. And that starts usually at 5 years of age. And then when it comes time to settle down with a life partner, do that, execute that well, and learn the art of sacrifice, self-sacrifice. That's also called tapasya. And then you might do vanaprastha. Most people don't get beyond the second stage, even amongst devotees. Vanaprastha means you're supposed to spend time in the vana. What's the vana? The forest. Sounds like not such a bad place, but most people are not up for that level of austerity. And that could translate into, okay, you want to stay married, you have a partner, great. Then travel to holy places, like travel through the US, travel through Canada, and visit all the temples and participate a little bit, lend a helping hand, attend the festivals, chant with the community, and those kind of things. That's a good way to, let's say, accept or welcome this phase in one's life. The last one, which is called renounced order or sannyas, is rarely achieved. Very few people come to this stage, but we will say that everyone should develop the kind of sannyas mind or spirit, which means it's focused on Krishna. And when people get, say, beyond 75, well, you are slowed down and you really got to get your mind on the Supreme Lord. And there's not much else there to do. There's not much you can physically do when people hit that particular age. By the way, I'm 71, turned 71 the other day. And so I'm just 4 years away from that phase. May Krishna bless me to have a long life and to still keep dancing like a madman in kirtan until maybe 95 years old. That would be kind of nice.
We also pray for that, Maharaj.
108.
Life is set up in a way that we should perform austerity so that when the austerity imposes itself on you, you're ready for it. So it's to get us into practice, So we do have to tighten we have to still pay our bills. We still have, and you might have to have less in the refrigerator, So you just be ready for that by practicing it throughout, Don't be a glutton and just eat like a pig all the time. Slow down. And in other areas of sense gratification, just cut down, shave down, downsize, and as much as you can, And you might not tell others to do that, but at least when I say self-discipline, the discipline is on you. You can't force it on others, but at least you practice it, and then it's a lot easier for others to follow as well. We have to take lead. As soon as you're an adult, kids look up to you, and they study you very carefully. Then when it says, well, are you really an adult? Are you measuring up to responsibility and so on like that? They look at us, and then they're ready to find fault. Let's see, oh, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You're a devotee. You're a devotee of Krishna, and look at you. Look what you're watching. Look what you're doing. Look how you're eating. You're not supposed to have all that sugar in you. That even the doctor tells you, right? Doctors are generally they're helpful when they say things, more exercise, less sugar. But when they start to throw pills at you, then it's another story. I remember a song by Aretha Franklin, "Don't send me no doctor, filling me up with all those pills." So, it's doctors these days also are not always giving the best advice, but when they say, cut down on your sense gratification, cut down on your food and drink intake, cut down on the sugar and all those kind of things, do more exercise, then they're doing their job. Otherwise, many of them are quacks. Hope there's no doctors on our call here. All right. Any questions or comments for Bruce?
Hare Krishna, can I say something?
You sure can.
So I think in the topic of tapasya, I think it's so important to do tapasya because it makes you so strong mentally and physically. You feel like you're not so disturbed by a lot of things happening in the material planet, like the heat or mosquitoes or anything like that. It's so good to like take cold water showers and even I sometimes even take ice bath. And you know, your mind, the first thing is your mind is gonna be like, get out, no, you can't do it. But you used to say, you're not in control, I am in control, and we're gonna do this. So it's so important to do it. And I think like most of the generation today, it's so they're offended by anything, and they are like little babies. So because they can't control the mind, you know, meditation is one of the things that can help you. Also the ice, like also fasting, these things, they all help. It's a combination of everything. And it's so good. It's so good for you. It's amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Thanks for supporting the notion of self-discipline. That's good. Just let's look at chapter 2, text 14. Can we flip over to that? 2:14. It's one of the first lessons that Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshasta kontaya, shitoshna sukudukada, agamapa no nityas, namstatikshasva bharata. And I'll give the translation. I'll point to one phrase here. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O son of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So toleration is tapasya. That's what it is. So they both start with a T. So when you talk about toleration, the Sanskrit that we should go on is tapasya. The line, the second last sentence, or the last sentence actually, these dualities, they actually arise from sense perception, you know, but sense perception isn't real perception. The senses are temporary, you know, correct? The body is temporary. So whatever you perceive with the temporary body is not really perceiving. It's a temporary, let's say, observation of something that is placed before you. So let's just keep that in mind, that, you know, tapasya, tolerance, that's something we need to apply if you want to call yourself a spiritualist. If you call yourself a spiritualist and you don't exercise some level of simplicity, then there's a few things missing here. Any other points that anybody would like to raise?
Maharaj, I have a comment.
Please.
When your mention about the stocked up fridge culture, I noticed that when there's a stocked up fridge, it discourages family from sitting together and eat together.
All right. Yeah. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, if you have a stocked up fridge, it usually means that anybody can grab any old thing. Well, in our household, there never was that much in there. And you wouldn't do that, especially if there were like six of us kids. One person starts nibbling at something and everyone else starts doing the same thing. Your grocery bill is going to go sky high, you know? So we learned how to, you know, just take what you need. And just like you've heard the phrase before, eat what you need to keep body and soul together. And, you know, there's such an imbalance in the world. The reason why people are able to buy so much, because the food items are priced so low that you can just grab anything. And in the meantime, our farmers are suffering. Many places in the world, they're not getting enough for what they produce. So just see the imbalance here. We have to be nice to our farmers, right? Any other comments, Bruce? Okay, then I think let's go to the next principle, which is simplicity, right? And that just takes one person to read that.
Basanta or Manasiganga?
Hare Krishna. As far as the Brahminical quality of simplicity is concerned, not only should a particular order of life principle, but every member, be he in the Brahmachari ashrama, Grahastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, or Sannyas ashrama, one should be very simple and straightforward.
Nice.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu's, if you can recall that, well, everything that Prabhupada explains here, with reference to the 26 qualities, is usually affiliated with one of the particular social orders of life. And so here, the pattern is a little bit broken. Like what we just read to Tapasya, it's something that's very, very truthful for the brahmachari, especially, right? Now, here we're talking about whether you are brahmachari, that it means a student, or a family person with a house and children, or if you're sort of semi-retired or retired, as we say, you know, as a sannyasi, everyone should exercise simplicity, which means do not be duplicitous. Prabhupada talks about when you're in the field of business people, they tend to something, because you're a nice guy, I will, you know, I'll reduce the price for you for my product, you know. And they do that, but they're kind of, it's a bit of a lie. He knows it's a lie. He knows how much he had to pay for the commodity and how much he's making on it. So there's a little bit of that slight deception here, which is granted or allowed to some degree. But what we're talking about here is everyone has to come down to simplicity as much as possible, be straightforward, and don't be conniving. Try to avoid that as much as possible. It applies to everybody. It says brahmachari ashram, grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, sannyas ashram. What does ashram mean? It means you're in a spiritual phase of life. That's what you are.
Maharaj, you're muted.
Whether you're single or married or semi-retired or you know you're on your own as a single person, all of them are ashrams. That means that God is in the center of your life. That's what ashram implies. And elsewhere, Prabhupada talks about grihastha means someone who's a householder or a family person, one who has assets, right? Physical assets. Well, everyone, regardless, is supposed to exercise simplicity and honesty and being straightforward and try to avoid duplicity as much as possible. Yeah. Sometimes we hear the word to be diplomatic. It's a little different from duplicity. I hope you we can dwell on that for a minute. World leaders sometimes have to exercise diplomacy. They have to say nice things when from their heart it's not really there. For the king next door, one king says to the next king, he says, "Oh, you're very nice. You've got a nice thing going on here, and you can understand there's some motive there for that kind of flattery, So that's allowed. It's part of the Kshatriya, our training as a leader, and so you end up in a sort of a gray, foggy area, and there's a tendency sometimes not to be so straightforward. You're flattering in order to get something. Your intention is to gain, for self-gain. But it's somewhat allowed, and but as much as possible, one should try not to become consumed by this particular quality. And when somebody is duplicitous, it just means pretty much you're just lying through your teeth. And people don't lie much, do they, Prabhupada? You think they lie?
No way.
No way, Jose. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Adhikart. It was nice for you to be with us. Okay, so straightforwardness is really appreciated for the Vaishnavas. Okay. How do we do that? We tell people some truthful principles. That body, your spirit, soul, etc. Good. I think we can move on to the next one. And I just need somebody to be a little bit of someone to keep an eye on the time, because I really do have to go at the quarter of the hour.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 more minutes.
Okay, good. So let's go for ahimsa. There's a nice chapter just devoted to ahimsa. Okay, let's get familiar with the word. Ahimsa basically means to exercise nonviolence. And I think everybody in our little circle here will agree that's a good principle to follow. So we can get maybe 3 people to read this, so we all get a chance.
Okay. Manasi Ganga, Rasaraj Prabhu, and then I can read the rest.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept.
Hare Krishna.
Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are addicted to eating animals in spite of having an ample supply of grain, fruits, and milk.
Manasi Ganga, you. Okay, Rasaraj Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare.
There is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence for animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal to another.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
If a particular animal is killed, then his progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is untimely killed, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa.
Thank you very much. Ahimsa again means non-violence, non-aggression, when it comes to, especially to do with food. So in many cultures in the world, animals have been put into the category of being edible. They're considered food. In more advanced civilizations, the conclusion is, no, I can't eat that. I can't eat that creature. That creature is shows a lot of love. That creature is like a child, needs my protection instead of my aggression. That creature is biologically like me, like humans, psychologically and biologically like humans. So it becomes obvious to some people, vegetarians and more particularly vegans, that you just don't kill, to kill these animals for your own purpose. Now, you can't talk to a lion or a tiger like that. You said, don't you be doing this. You have to be a vegan now, or you go to hell, you go to Kumbipaka. You can't do that. But humans are in a different position. We're in a position of sensitivity and responsibility. And we should never succumb to this state of killing animals to satisfy our palate. And Prabhupada says that if you check the progress of an animal, that where there's a soul that's trying to get now to the human form of life, whereby he or she can cultivate their spirituality, then if you are actually checking them, they have to come back again. When humans interfere, and that's why Prabhupada says untimely death, they're not really meant to die at that time. Humans are not supposed to get involved, If one animal takes another one down and eats, then that's one thing. But when humans go out of their way to eat the flesh, when there's nuts, grains, veggies, fruits of an ample nature around, then it shows irresponsibility on the part of the humans. The only times that humans may be permitted to do so is if you're in training, or you're a Kshatriya, or perhaps if you're a hunter in that particular category and that's your basic food. But generally people are supposed to be vegetarian. It is possible, even in colder climates now. Remember we were talking about the big refrigerator? So, you can stock there and you keep things relatively fresh. We don't have any excuse for being carrying on in a violent culture as it is. So ahimsa is a real big part of becoming a spiritualist. And a lot of people will say, I love God, but and if you're a big supporter of the slaughter system, then it's a little bit two-faced now. And many devotees are stuck in a hard place when they're questioned, well, you don't believe in killing animals, but if you take dairy from the regular source, that dairy is provided by bulls and cows who will be slaughtered. So we're part of that system. And that's why Prabhupada wanted us to have our own farms and source milk from other areas. I know it's not easy, but we should go in that direction. Many of our leaders have been encouraging that. I think we don't have so much time left. Prabhu, I think maybe it's a good
Not
idea.
that late.
How much time?
4 more minutes, Maharaj.
So we do quick takeaways, unless if you, Bruce, want to continue for an extended 15 minutes. You want to continue and continue the discussion? I know because of my flight arrangements, I have to go now. Do you, Bruce, want to continue for the next 15 minutes?
We could. I don't know. Whoever wants to stay, they can stay.
Yeah, why don't you do it? Yeah, give yourselves a chance to see how you can manage amongst yourselves. Please,
Yeah.
please. But for now, I have to bow out. I have to offer my respects to you all. And we'll have to think about, I'll be in touch with Vaishnavi about what to do for next week when I'll be in Europe. There's a chance I might be able to get on board with you at, for that 1 hour, but it will be 5 to 6. That means 10 o'clock, 10 to 11. That might be cruel for me if you have me do that. All right.
Yeah, we will
So
follow.
let's see how you do in the next 15 minutes. And if it goes really well, then I can appreciate you, Prabhus, are competent to carry on with the discussion on your own and make it meaningful and helpful. All right, how's that? Is that a deal?
Yes, Maharaj.
That's a
Yes,
deal.
Maharaj.
Okay, great. So for now, okay, so carry on. Keep calm.
Thank you, Maharaj. Okay, so now that we are here all by ourselves, first thing I will do is disconnect ourselves from the YouTube.